Alright guys, welcome back to another video with me, Kevin Twist, and today we're talking about the shock result of the weekend in the Viaplay Cup. Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 0. Who would have thought? Brendan Rodgers out of the cup already, such great cup record when he was here at Celtic the first time. Celtic are just off the back of a treble and they're in the first knockout and they're not even going to go deep in the competition to try and defend the cup they had last season. And people are questioning, is it the signings? Is it some sort of just not showing up for that one game? Is it Rodgers? That's the big thing. Or players not adapting? And for me, I think the style of play is the main part. I think these players would have been perfectly fine under Ange. I feel like these players would have came in under Ange no matter what. From what's been said so far, scouting over a few years, etc., came in with basically every player. So it feels like these players were coming in anyways. It's just the manager that's changed. And I feel like people just are moaning about the wrong thing. I think I've said this online in a few tweets now, that people are moaning about the signings instead of the actual main thing, which is style of play. I thought so far, in the couple league games, but now we've got to, we're a couple of games in now, including the cup, and the style of play is still non-existent. There's nothing to look at and be like, okay, that's what he's trying. It does feel like we're relying a lot on our top stars, relying on like Matt O'Reilly to carry the whole of the midfield, or Callum McGregor to have a masterclass in the midfield, Abada to be, Messi level performance, Kyogo to just somehow score goals out of nothing. Whereas under Ange, I'm not going to use the excuse people have made, well, he's not got all the signings in, it's not the end of the window. Well, even Ange in the bad results before he got all his players in over a couple of windows, you could still see what he was trying to do, passing into certain areas, not players. The inverted fullbacks were so far, it's just we're relying on certain players to just make something out of nothing, and that's not what Celtic should be. You should be playing well and getting the result you deserve. Yesterday, Kilmarnock deserved that result. We should have had a penalty in towards the end, in my opinion, but we should have lost anyways, in my opinion, as well. It was a terrible performance, and if we had got that penalty, it would have been undeserved overall in the performance. But was it down to the players? Was it Rodgers? For me, obviously, I think it's down to Rodgers. I think he has to take the blame for that result and not the players. Obviously, the players could have played better, but with a lack of style of play, huge change of going from a manager like Ange, where everything's so set in stone of what the players are all trying to do. I think it's huge, and especially if we look at someone like Taylor, who's took a lot of abuse online, or stick, should I say, of, oh, he's not that great anymore, what's this, he's regressed. I don't think that's down to him. It's more the position he's now playing. He's now playing as a natural left back, which we already knew he wasn't great at. Why was he so good in getting Player of the Year shouts from some people last season? Because he's a great inverted wing back, but he's just an average left back. He's not Celtic quality left back, but he's a Celtic quality inverted wing back, that's for sure. Inverted full back, should I say, coming into that midfield, helping the midfield, retaining the possession. That's what he's really good at, and it'll be a real shame if he has to be replaced under Rodgers, because he was just so good under Ange and in that role. That I'll be disappointed if Rodgers doesn't have any sort of role for him in there, because the inverted fullback role, he was so good that we didn't need to sign another left back. We were looking at people maybe for backup to do the same role, is what we were originally talking about with the left back situation. Someone to replace Bernabeu. Now we're looking at someone completely different to be a natural left back in that role. It's quite disappointing, a bit of a shame that someone who was so good is getting almost put aside just because of the manager and not actual them as a player. Very disappointing that. But overall, the style of play, I thought it's been poor in all the games, as I've said a bit earlier in the video. Obviously some signings are still to be made, and I still think we'll win the league, as I said in my prediction video. Go watch that out. There's a couple of interesting shouts in there from me and my friend in the video. But yeah, obviously we'd still like some signings. In an ideal world, we'd have a new goalkeeper like Lajkovic or whatever. Right back, we'd have a better backup than Ralston for when Alistair Johnson's out. In an ideal world, there's all these different signings, and hopefully we can sign someone in the left wing like a Pedence, or just someone who can hopefully replace Jota, maybe even Jota back on loan, because there's all that news in Saudi with the foreign player cap that he might, leave. It'll be really interesting, to say the least. I still think Celtic will be fine, but I'm just disappointed so far in the style of play under Rodgers, and I'm hoping that this shock result is almost like a reality check for him. It'll be interesting to see. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.